more diverse. That's really the key, is diversity.
Reserve time.
I'm letting that sink for a moment. Alright, let's move on.
Well, I mean, the thing is, what you have to understand though is the Swedes, they're actually Americans. They were just they happen to be born in Sweden, but they're very American in personality, and like they have really good understanding and a very large vocabulary of swear words, which I think is just most important. They also love bagels and apple juice and a lot of other like American pastimes, like you know, getting a beer belly and sitting out in the sunshine.
You should know
being
that.
unemployed.
Like going to DreamHack as much as you have, like you know that half of the Swedes there talk when they speak English, they speak with an American accent.
Team pick.
Like some of them are so heavy American because they learn off TV. It's kind of crazy. But yes, a little bit of diversity would be nice. The Ursa though, like if we go back a couple of months, maybe we'd say this is a lot more diverse, but Ursa's becoming so much more of a staple. Big thanks to Team Liquid for that one, as they just kept pushing it through.
I highly disagree. There's no
Really?
You can't credit Team Liquid for Ursa right now, dude.
Well,
Like there's no way. So long ago. Ursa's popular now because of a couple streamers, and I think Enemy specifically. This BSJ's team, like BSJ is a pretty good player on certain heroes, and Ursa is one of them. And because, again, we're NA Dota, Elite Wolves loses to Ursa, and they go, hey guys, let's just third pick at this game. Like, I don't think they're copying Korok here, man.
Okay.
Sorry. Continue. Please go on, Toby.
No, I know. I don't
know
interrupt.
so much about this scene. I just want to pick your brain, honestly.
Such a dick.
Like, what do you think of Van?
Such a
What do you think
dick.
of Van?
Welcome to the biggest dick in North American Dota. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-caster swindles.
I mean, you know Grant, right?
Yeah, I know Grant.
Like, I would consider him.
He could be streaming this game right now for all I know.
Yeah, I think he probably has at least 5 times as much knowledge as you do about the NA scene.
Yeah,
and that
I would not doubt it. The big difference between me and Grant is I can actually express what I do know.
He actually, and I'm going to give him a shout out. Grant wrote an incredible post on NA Dota about the regional info and prediction. He wrote about the American. He predicted the American regionals and the invites and what's going to happen, etc. And that was probably the best piece of content I have seen in Dota 2 about America this entire year. It was excellent. He needs a proofreader, but again, he's not getting paid. You're getting paid to know about America, Toby.
No, I'm
what's
not.
going on?
No, I'm not.
What?
Didn't you hear? Like, I'm an entirely European biased caster.
Oh god. So I assume you think we only deserve like an EG invite and maybe 1 qualifier spot, give the rest to Europe?
Oh
because they
wait,
have such
you actually want to? Do you want to trigger what I believe should happen for the qualifiers for the major and TI?
Enlighten me.
The current system is completely broken. Completely broken. The fact that you even have regional qualifiers that decide the last people who are going to attend the event is stupid because you're not finding the strongest teams in the world. What you're doing is you're getting the best pick out of the different regions. What should happen is you have your direct invites, you then have qualifier invites, and then you have an open qualifier, which allows teams to travel to a LAN final, where then you have representatives from each of the countries play to then compete for a slot in the main event. This is a standard.
That's perfect.
This is a standard way of doing it. You watch how the CS majors are done. It was done the same way. ESL, they flew all the teams into Poland to play this LAN qualifier in a LAN environment. So teams like Peruvian teams playing up against North American team, against like East Coast teams of America, we don't have this horrible issue with pings and lags, or what happens when the Turkish guys play. Like what region they even play in. There was some where you had to be classed as Europe CIS, but your ping to Southeast Asia was better. So you wanted to play in the Southeast Asian tournament. Australia gets a better ping to US West than they do to Singapore sometimes. But why do they have to play in Southeast Asia? It's creating an online environment for an event which really should be a LAN.
10
No,
seconds.
I
remaining.
okay, well, two things. One, I don't disagree with you. I think that I would much prefer it if you had your 8 invites and you just send like, I don't know. See, again, it's kind of redundant if you're saying we need like 12 or 16 teams at a LAN to compete for the 8 spots remaining. But I think you made an excellent point, but I want to talk about the game before we get totally sidetracked.
Yeah, definitely.
And one more thing. You were right about Liquid, though. I'm actually retarded. I was thinking about the old Team Liquid, not the present Team Liquid. And yes, they certainly innovated Ursa. I give them credit for that, but I don't think that affected American Meta that much. But I was definitely incorrect about that.
10 seconds
Regarding the
remaining.
draft, I think the Oracle pick's actually super good. It's one of in my opinion,
5
like the
seconds
hard counters to
remaining.
Omni, because you can purge off his abilities. And the draft synergy from Ely Wolves seems like really strong right now, because as soon as the Ursa gets a blink, they can grab an Aegis, especially now that they have Razor. So you have 2 really good targets for Repel that can allow the Dazzle and Shadow Shaman tons of space in the team fights. They have a really nice early pressure lineup. And if they can just keep this Invoker down, I think they're going to be in a really good spot, because Invoker just straight up dies to a repelled Ursa. Like 100-0, he's dead if he gets blinked on.
But that's a big problem, though. Like you're saying, keep the Invoker down. Shadow Shaman and Dazzle don't really work well on a rotation gank. And the only stun you
10
got out from Elite
seconds
Wolves
remaining.
is, in fact, Shadow Shaman Shackles right now. Next to his head.
think
Like, that's it.
Remaining.
I think it. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm waiting for a team to try the Shadow Shaman core. I think it's got a lot of potential. Ooh, that's a brutal pick. They actually don't have anything to deal with the Brood right
The
now.
space for the Dazzle, the Shadow Shaman has now been removed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that hero scares me so much, man. I can't play Brood for the life of me. I've just given up. And luckily, a lot of NA Dota, shout out to Jenkins, it's the same way. But man, it's still so scary, because as you say, like now you know they can shut him down, but it requires 3 heroes to stop the Brood, and
Yep.
that means there's no help whatsoever in the other lanes, which nearly guarantees Invoker and Tiny a good game. And I personally think that the Invoker and Tiny are really going to be the keys to this game. If Tiny can get a fast blink, he can just pretty much one-shot the supports the entire game, and he'll also have the Sunstrike assist, assuming this is an Exort Invoker, which I think is pretty safe to assume that is what it will be.
Yeah. Most players have been starting with the Exort at least.
Actually, Quaswex is pretty good against Omni, but still, we'll see. I'm not sure.
Crossways would make a lot of sense up against this entire Elite Wolves team, because you think about like their mana pools as well, what they really have to work with. I'm wondering if like Van skips going in for the mech in this game, and just rely on the heal coming out from the Dazzle, because I just don't see him with a mana pool enough if this is going to be like an EMP Tornado Invoker. Elite Wolves would just be bone dry, and they'll have nothing to work with. Also, a smooth move on the Courier. They bought it, but they left it back at base. The Shaman had to walk back to actually trigger it. So he's a little bit late to the
poor
front
guy.
30
lines.
seconds to battle.
He started with 2 sentries. Dazzle has no dust, so they just have the sentries to work with. Brood wasn't pooled sentries. Normally, I like to see that happen, especially because I mean they're going up against an off-lane Omni Knight. Also, I don't know if you noticed this. You probably didn't, as you're European and everything. But Smash has moved to the off-lane, which is just kind of baffling to me, because he's like been the star player for E-Wolves for quite some time. And there might be some fighting against this rune, by the way.
Yeah, they're going to try and
I'll let
contest it for the bottom, but they already get the sentry down and the shackles. This is one way to kill off a Brood Mother. Get 3 heroes at round and then go for the Dazzle Shadow Wave. They have more than enough damage to get that kill, and well, if
That's
get caught out.
exact zero on too. They gave it to the Razor, which is so good right now for E-Wolves, because he's going up against an Oracle Tiny. If he can get a fast boots, he can actually just pretty much guarantee he doesn't die.
Yeah.
They're actually going to go for the toss back into tower. This is something that I think Team Leviathan was doing a lot. They did with the Tusk, where pretty much he's just going to play really aggressive and toss into Oracle like this.
Yep. There's other teams like MVP as well who are using Bane to set up there. That's just ridiculously good. But MVP was using heroes like Bane. Now officially, nope, they don't have enough to really follow this up on the top lane. How do you even battle this? Like, you're running a safe lane Exort Invoker when Tusker initiates with Shards, and then you try and turn an attack onto Smash. Purification and Shadow Wave, the Tusker loses so much life so quickly.
There's so much sustain in this lane. It's actually crazy. Dazzle Omni Knight, like I don't know how they're going to kill anything.
Why am I Toby Juan? I don't understand. I'm seriously, like, I've become that much of an old man, I do not keep up with the memes. Explain this to me, Swindles.
Dude, you're watching, like, man, it's, I mean, maybe I'm not reading a further level, but you're casting 2 South American teams. Juan, like Toby Juan. Come on, man.
Oh, no. See, Blitz does that to me all the frickin' time. It's like, Toby Juan, every frickin' time. It's like, hi, Juan. What's up, Juan? I'm like, Blitz! No matter how much I really want to be, I can't be Asian like you.
Oh, jeez. Okay, watching how this game's playing out, I mean, Van obviously is going to learn from his mistake and hopefully not die like that again. I really think he should have bought boots and not a bottle because, like, the only way he dies here is if he somehow gets stun tossed into tower. And that's really not possible as a Razor unless he makes a really egregious error. Now here's a haste rune actually for the Tiny, but it's going to be denied. Nope. Oracle will get it, but that's actually a huge deny because the Tiny really wanted to use that last charge, and a haste is nearly a free kill on this Razor. So that was a really well played movement there by Mystico on the Dazzle. Oh, another thing that drives me nuts about Peruvian Dota, though, they never use their real names, man. Never. It's so hard to keep track of them.
Wow.
Then they have
wait,
roster
hang on.
changes.
Hang on. You as a professional player are actually complaining about this?
No,
I thought
dude,
it's just a
I'm the
Natus
biggest
problem.
proponent. No. Your name should be your name that you play with. And there's a special exception for people that are genuinely, like, popular enough and cool enough to get away with it. Because they, like, okay, EG can name themselves whatever the fuck they want. They won TI5, you know who they are, it doesn't matter. But if you're just some random schmuck, play as your name. It's better for your brand, and it makes more sense, doesn't it?
It does. I will not debate that at all. Also, we just got proven just how difficult it is to kill this top lane. Like, that was hard.
If you haven't, like, let alone, let's say you haven't even, I'm not even talking about if you've won an international tournament. If you haven't even played in one, then people don't know who you are. Use your real name. I just feel like it's the easiest way to out yourself as an under 18 player who isn't taking his career seriously enough.
I want to build myself up as a brand. I want to make it so when people hear my name, they go really awesome. So I'm going to call myself Dick Cheese. Dick Cheese shall be my name today. And tomorrow, my name shall be something different. It'll be Slippery Nipple tomorrow. That's it just yes.
No, it's idiotic.
There's a lot to be said about branding in Dota.
I played with Way2, okay, and I said this to him in person. Way2 is the worst because Way Too Sexy. He has told me he literally changes his picture to a random K-pop girl and just names himself weird words, okay? Just like, or song lyrics, like The Way You Make Me Feel, just shit like that. Right now, I think he's playing as where is he? I'm gonna assume he's playing his all-time list. Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't he just be Way2? What's wrong with that name?
Oh wow, that damage!
That's dead.
Okay, now Infamous, like, you can't blame him. You can't blame him this time around. Like, they go for the fortunes and look at the perfect lockdown control, the nice follow-up Sunstrike. You get charge, you get snowball, you get everything there, and then you've got the double burst heal damage, which kicks you back. They'll be able to get a revenge here on Smash until the Dazzle, no mana for Shallow Grave. He's triggering the Clarity and hoping to get some mana up. There's no chance for another 12 seconds. Smash will survive. Unless there's...
That was a really nice dive.
There's no mana for a Sunstrike. Even though Infamous has it, he's got no mana.
Yeah. Wow,
also, who the hell is that on the Invoker? Like, it's someone from Infamous, but we have no idea who.
I believe, and again, I could be completely wrong, okay? But I am pretty sure that it's Schofield's. No, actually,
he's gonna toss him all the way back. Wasn't in range of the tower, however, but there's still an avalanche up. So this Tiny's just gotta. There we go. He just lets it rock.
Wait, sorry, I was wrong. I believe. Okay, I think the mid player is Schofield. He's just a really high MMR Peruvian player who just clowns around constantly. And I think that the other player. Wait, because. I actually have no idea. I don't even know, man. Because
Dino, I know you're tuning in right now, Dino. Can you let us know exactly who is who? He's like, our wonderful DotaPIT admin who takes care of everything. You know that one leader you asked for a tournament? Dino's it for DotaPIT. He makes sure this thing works.
Okay, well here's the thing. So if you go to like Liquipedia, wiki.Team Liquid, which is normally like very accurate and updated, currently on Team Infamous, they list Van as the 2. And as you can see, Van is playing 2 for Elite Wolves, so they might have like actually like switched players or something. I don't know. Like, you just kind of have to go with it and try not to get outdrafted. But
I thought you knew. I thought you knew everything about NA Dota, man. Like, that's the reason why you're here.
man, NA Dota's in NA. You can't
Toss me.
truly know it.
Buns.
I think
Bud is
dead.
so dead. There's no TP support coming from the Dazzle or the Omni Knight. Primarily because, well, Omni Knight's not going to leave his lane, and Dazzle didn't have a TP.
he is still laning very, very well, however, as is this Ursa. Ursa's actually doing incredibly well, but I believe that's just a bunch of spider CS. But
Yeah.
the game's still relatively even, I think. Personally, I think the E-Wolves have a better draft if they can just hit their timing, because I really don't know what Dire can do against this mid-game.
Ursa. Rage it up, boy. He's chasing up after Tuskar, and now, well, with the shackles arriving, they'll keep the Tuskar in position with a shock. There's so many players from Infamous, but it's a horrible choke point with that small staircase. That,
Arcane Rune Tiny. It's so scary if you can get onto somebody. He's not going to be able to, but it was worth a try.
you know the scariest Arcane Rune hero? I don't know if you saw the clip come out recently, but it was on a puck. It was an Octarine
Really?
core with the Arcane Rune puck. It's never-ending phase shift.
I guess, but that's like a defensive thing.
It's you'd say that, but the problem is like you can just bait out and soak so many different abilities, because you can just jump around all the time. So if you have a blink dagger, as well as having like I know it's kind of weird to have an Octarine core over on the puck, but still.
Oh, just a note, by the way, the Invoker's going Exort, and he's also rushing Phase Boots, which is kind of questionable to me, but we'll see how it works out. They bring the Razor up top as well, and they're going to push this tier 1.
Oh, they found the Oracle.
Oh, Sunstrike to bottom.
Yeah, it was the initiation originally coming out here from Masoku, but he's going to be picked off. That Broodmother just sitting around.
Yep. They're going to get the top tier 1, though, I believe. Yeah, they got the pull off as well, so I'm pretty sure they'll get this. And I consider the tier 1 in the safe lane to be the most valuable tower for each team, and I believe that they can take this tower and also rotate the bottom in time to protect their own. Although there is great vision up from the Dire, so this could be one of those classic try to defend your tower, the enemy team already has 5, and you just lose scenarios.
Coming.
But
like, he wants to go. Tiny just used his toss as well, so he's going to take out one of these controllers, and when Smash arrives with his burst heal purification, I can just go to work on him. So yeah, you're right, even with the vision, the defense is still very strong. That top tower's taking some sweet-ass time to bring down, however. And now with the Sunstrike coming in, start with a Cold Snap, the Razor still doesn't get the last hit in the tower. The Shallow Grave's the only thing keeping him alive. He wants to get a kill onto the Oracle. He's dealing all the damage but can't inflict any of it.
that's still worth it. 1 for 1, and they get the tower, and Dire doesn't. That's actually a huge deal. Now they just group up, they take this tower for the Brood, and after, I mean, I'm not that experienced, but after playing some games as Brood and watching a lot of it, when you lose your tower and you haven't taken the enemies, it's so much harder because you just simply don't have enough webs to effectively farm the lane safely and take over the jungle. So this is going to be really important. They drop the wards too. This is the power of Shadow Shaman, one of the new meta support heroes coming back, because you can actually like drop wards like this. What are they going to do? There's an Ursa and an Omni Knight there as well.
Yeah.
Like you cannot fuck with this this trio right now.
Yeah, the counter push just doesn't exist. But the Broodmother at the same time, like okay, when you get a nice nope, he's not going to get the pick on the courier. Or maybe he will. Those Spirelings can't chase any further. There's no webs, as you were saying. Down.
Yeah, like right now he's really just able to farm woods, but like as you can see, once the lane gets past the Radiant Ward, he's really just unable to push the lane. So he has to cut and take the jungle, which is really a dangerous position. And just a point to make, like I don't know what Dire does for the rest of the game against that exact push. Like every time wards are up, that's a tower. I don't think they can do a damn thing. Oh, sick random dust. They might get the tiny for that. Really good repel. Yeah, they got him. Wow. That was really good heads-up play by Mystico, recognizing there was an invis. It's a free kill.
He didn't even bump into him though. Like, how did he recognize that?
Just, dude, spider sense, man. Like, that's the thing. That is the strength of E-Wolves, okay? They have beaten me in 2 consecutive Summit final, or 2 Summit Land, like, qualifier finals. Because of things like that, man. You just can't predict their play. Sometimes it backfires, other times it's crazy.
They just felt something was up and they went for it. I love it. I love it.
We count the game. They had bought 23 sentries in the first 15 minutes of the game because we were playing with I think a bounty hunter. They just don't care, dude. They will spend money to kill you. I'm actually surprised there hasn't been more action in this game because I feel like South American Dota is really just most known for just tons of aggression and just like it doesn't matter if they're 10k ahead, their mid will trade and dive the tier 4 for that support. Like every time. It's not, they don't even think about it.
Well, patience seems to be the right avenue. Because you asked the question, like what do you do with a brood mother? This early on when you haven't taken down a tower, normally the answer is go and hunt down these supports. But I can't remember the last time I've seen an E-Wolves player, either like a support player, away from either a sentry ward or a core. Like they're always together, there's always support around.
Yeah, the Brood just went for a Midas, by the way, and the Ursa picks up a Blink. So that's a pretty great example of what both teams are trying to accomplish right now. Infamous is really just holding on for dear life, trying to make this game go as late as possible, and E-Wolves is just going to start diving towers pretty soon and taking objectives.
Well, why not? Every time those mass serpent walls come off cooldown, you take a tower.
Yeah, they just actually got a tier 2. The Blink, and now they're smoking towards middle. They're just going to 5-man there. I actually really like E-Wolves. Mystico is, in my opinion, the best South American caster. And I think they've been a little tilted lately because they lost to teams that most would consider inferior in this event previously. But they play with like actual camaraderie. You know, they're making a moves as 5, and that's really all they have to do to win this game at this point, I think. I mean, they're only 3k gold and even an XP ahead, but I mean, watch this. They're just going to kill this guy TPing. Oh, yep. Or the Oracle.
Jump in middle. Going on Oracle. Well, the Tuskar's going to try and create a little bit of space, and, well, he's one more attack. The Tuskar's going to snowball into this. I don't know if that's just meant to be space created, but the tower was already taken out by the Razor. You've just taken out the Tuskar as well. The Oracle has to walk back to base, so they're just going to go for Roshan, because no one can come and contest this. The Invoker still has no attention because you're going double Midas, like Invoker plus the Brood Mother, so no one's got any items to fight with.
Yep, and like this is where they kind of need to fight, you know? Like they need to fight this. They can't just give away a free Roche, but I mean they have to. They have double Midas, as you said. Tiny's about 500 from his Blink, but I'm really fearful that by the time he gets it, the supports might actually have enough items to survive. I mean, right now they're super squishy, but like the Tiny's just not having the game he needs, I feel, to win Dire this game.
I'm wondering if it even matters, because the Tiny jumps fantastic. But if Smash puts a repel onto even just one of the supports at this point, or if he's not involved in it, if Sia's not involved in it, you got Shallow Grave, you got Shadow Wave, you got Purification. All of this just turns on the Tiny. And he kind of has to initiate because the Mass Serpent was once again a back off cooldown. Wait, does a ward do? Okay, I like that ward. Sorry, I just saw one of the Observer wards get dewarded here in the middle lane. And then from the low ground here, he plans to one up on the side shop. Doesn't reveal himself at all. I'm gonna use that. I don't know if that's a standard ward or not. Like, it's not a ward I've seen placed in the new map.
Yep. Really early gem picked up by Dazzle at the moment, and they also smoke towards bottom. They're going to try and just find this Brood real quick and take over the map, or at least take over this area for a little bit. This is a really good pickup, but it could also backfire very heavily if
he
the
walks straight into him.
Tiny kills him. Yep.
No backfire on this one.
Yep, that's a huge kill actually, because now they're actually not going to pressure the lane, but they're going to push. Okay, I think they're going to push. They should push it all the way up to their ward and prevent it.
It's tier 2 mid movement. Like, Mass Serpent wards are off cooldown. You guarantee yourself the second last outer tower of Infamous.
Oh, what? Okay, Tiny skipped his max Q for an extra point, for a point in Craggy. I don't know if that's good or not, but if that's the difference between killing this Dazzle and taking the gem and not one-shotting him, that could backfire really heavily. And there you go. They
Craggy got nerfed.
Yeah.
Now that it happens,
it also,
when the attacking,
it's really only effective against the Ursa, and he's just gonna get repelled and kill him anyway. So I don't really get it, but you know, maybe it was a misclick. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, again, this is kind of what we were talking about. Like, they're just dropping wards and taking the tower, and now they're gonna go kill the Invoker because he has puts in a Midas, and
his Invoker's also down, so he couldn't actually trigger up the Ghost Walk.
There was already a preemptive dust ready on the Ursa and a gem on the Dazzle though, so like it doesn't even matter. Now they're just gonna 5-man top. Razor's gonna go bottom to try and deal with the Brood, and I really just feel like they needed to go more fighting items on Infamous. Like they had this. I don't even know actually if they have this in the late game, but you can't. I don't know how they expect to go double Midas. I mean, they're only 4.5 behind, but I consider both of those Midases just totally worthless purchases.
It seems
So
crazy.
they might as well be 8K behind.
Like, we're both sitting there going, okay, well, what does the Broodmother do to actually get into this game? It's Hunt, is take out the supports, but you need something more like an Orchid in order to do that. And if you're running a Midas, then what's your objective here? Is your objective to go into Necro Books and then start your push? Is that your play? But if that's your play, the timing is all wrong. Because you're not going to have enough time to do this. Right now, middle lane, Van, TP support can come in. That'd be pretty quick here. And in fact, it is going to be Smash. He can come in, he can Purify, he can Repel if he wants to. And the amount of damage that's inflicted into Infamous is way too much underneath this tier 1 tower. They'll lose the Tiny. He actually fell with his Blink Initiation, which will not be the same for Iwer. As he's able to pick off the Tusker as well. There goes your Dust, the Broodmother's revealed. He got in range of the gem too, but that's 3 heroes down. And this game,
even though they get there late, it's like they just Razor doesn't die, and then they just mass TP and run over, and they just kill everything. There's just no damage from Infamous right now.
And that was before Razor finishes SMY. He's not even tanky. Like, there's no mech on this guy. He went a Sanj and Treads. I mean, sorry, Yasha and Treads. Sanj is now coming out.
Yep. I mean, this tower, this is probably Rax. I actually think this game is just over, honestly. I don't know what they're going to do to get back into this. They just can't mess with this. This is actually a great draft by E-Wolves. I think their opener was kind of questionable, just because I think opening with 2 supports kind of limits what you're able to do and your versatility, but they obviously had a plan going into the game, and it's working out.
Yeah. Their timing attack is wonderful. Like, how many games do you watch where 17 minutes in, you're watching the melee ranks die? It's very rare. Tiny, you might get that avalanche off with the Shackles, and you get another full duration here from Shadow Shaman onto that Shackles, but they're fighting inside the Mass Serpent Wards here. Infamous, that's way too much bonus damage here for E-Wolves just to turn around. And the SMYs arrive, at least they're able to get that trap on Van and Iwer. But Fortunes can only do so much to buy space for Infamous. They've lost them in racks. And they're going in further. Like, okay.
Okay. I can't. All right. I was about to say "told you so" because he was so about to dive that Oracle under the tier 4s, but he thought better of it and ran away.
Well, I don't care if we're 10K ahead. I'm looking at 10K net worth, man.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I actually I feel like this Brood. I mean, there are very, very few Dota players with the talent of Zai, but I think this was an excellent game for that Blink Dag and E-Blade that Zai did a couple times, because he actually could have potentially, like with the Tiny and that build, they could have picked off a hero at the start of every fight, maybe, or at least been able to get pickoffs around the map. But like, there's just they have no hope in a 5-on-5 engagement, especially when they go these items. Like, the game is just over. Like, they're just gonna group up bottom and push there as 5 heroes, and they're gonna win. I mean, I don't know. Infamous looked pretty awful against DC the other day, and they really don't look very good here. And I kind of expected them to be scarier. I mean, this team did make it to Frankfurt and beat Newbie, so.
Ursa goes directly in for the Oracle. And, well, while he's repelled up like that, they can't do anything to stop him. They really do want to, but now the snowball. Okay, that's one way to try and stop him. And already, Ursa finds 1 kill. They follow up with the Hexes. There's a 2nd kill. It looks like at the same time, Tiny died in the middle lane to the Razor. Mass 7 wards are back off cooldown, so they can actually just go for the GG push. In fact, they get the GG call out under 20 minutes. Good game, well played. E-Wolves take game 1 here of this 2-game series.
I mean, this is sort of like asking a blind man for directions, but do you know how False Promise interacts with Snowball? Like, can you snowball the guy as the False Promise is going to end, and then he doesn't take, like, the lethal damage as Oracle ult ends? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but mechanically I can't give you a correct answer.
Okay. Someone tweeted me. I feel like that might work, but I have no idea. Otherwise, you're dying inside Snowball. So I'm not sure how that interaction goes. But that was a really entertaining game. I'm glad we could cast that. That was a lot of fun.
Well, this blind man's going to try and find the button to put us to a break. So stay tuned, and we'll be back for game number